Charlie Kirk leaves a college Marxist speechless after he ludicrously claims that capitalism is a deadly vampire that feeds on the working class. Sucks all its blood out, apparently. Guys, this is going to be a fun video. I know you're going to like it. I don't know about you, but I always love seeing a good old smashing of a college Marxist. Much needed in today's society. So we're going to get right into it, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first, do me a big favor here. Like our video, share it around, and if you're new, subscribe to the Resist the Mainstream YouTube channel so we keep bringing you guys this great content. As always, everybody, for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. We really appreciate it. And I'm your host, Arian. Let's get into the show.
I know, I've seen the socialism sucks. So.
Yeah, but I don't like your ideology. I don't know about you. You seem like a nice enough person.
Yeah.
Your ideas are practically evil, but that's
okay. Well, same for you.
Okay, tell me why.
What?
Tell me why.
Capitalism is a vampire. I don't know.
Is it what?
I said that capitalism is a dead vampire that feasts on the blood of the working class.
Capitalism is a deadly vampire that feasts on the blood of the working class.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that for me?
I don't really want to right now, but like, because like.
Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
So you're feasting on the blood of the working class. How dare you?
Yeah, I know.
How do you feel about that?
We all have to do the best that we can.
No, you don't. Why don't you go live on a farm and not use the fruits of the working class and just be a socialist with your friends? Why use the fruits of the free market? Isn't that kind of hypocritical?
Why use the free market? Why pay money to a utility company so you can have air conditioning in your house? Why go to a grocery store and shop for food? Why not just grow your own farm, get your own cows, all that? I mean, unironically, I do want to do that, but that's a different discussion, okay? We can talk about that another day. Point being, guys, complain about capitalism all you want, but try living, I don't know, back in the 1500s, let's say, before a lot of these free market capitalist inventions hit the market. Trust me, it was not as good of a time back then.
No, because the free market is so pervasive, we have like no choice but to.
No, like I said, you could go live on a farm by yourself like the Amish do, or like socialists in Vermont do, but yet you choose to live in a free market society and benefit from it and use the heat and the light and the well-being and the medicine and the food all as a byproduct of a market-based society.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. But...
Oh, you love it, but you said it's a vampire sucking the blood of the working class, so isn't that a little contradictory?
What?
What's your dad's opinion?
My dad's opinion?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Is your dad the same persuasion as you?
No,
he's
he's a Republican.
Slightly, that's okay then.
He's
Republican.
Yeah, he's a Republican.
But no one's preventing. See, here's the thing: no one's preventing you from living like this.
Dad, what's going on? You're a Republican and your kid's a little commie Marxist, and you're sending him to college? Classic boomer mistake. I've seen this one before.
You can go do that, but your worldview would prevent me from living like an entrepreneur or like a capitalist. So inherently, your ideology is built on control of other people's choices. Ours is built on freedom. If you want to go live like a socialist, I have no problem with that. You can go start your own socialist colony in rural Utah, buy your own land and share your own water and share your own food. That's what's so amazing about voluntary societies. Whereas what you talk about is a coercive society. I don't have that freedom to live how I want to live under the worldview that you espouse. And I think that's immoral.
You're forcing them.
And again, I don't believe in revolutionary socialism.
I didn't accuse you of that. You said Democrat socialism.
Yeah. That's just the club I'm with. Really, I'm fairly Marxist, honestly.
Okay, let's talk.
That's just the club that I'm in. But I believe that eventually we will get to a state where enough people, we will collectively come together and say, hey, this is better, for all of us. I don't, obviously, with the world we live in today, like, socialism can't exist, like today in America. Like, I'm very pragmatic, at my core. I'm like, I recognize that's...
This is an incredibly naive view of human nature. At the end of the day, guys, humans are naturally sinful. If you don't believe me, read the Bible, or just try, living as a human, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Humans are very self-interested, that's instinctually so, and it just is what it is. That's the reality of it. So if you want to have a good society, you need to incentivize good behavior. One of those ways is often capitalism. Granted, capitalism could have its flaws, and sometimes there's regulation needed. I'm not going to try to argue against that today because I don't believe that. But at the end of the day, if you produce something of value in society, people are going to want to give you money for it. And there are many things in society that are both produced and of value that are very good. A great example, you can go and buy a BLT sandwich for maybe 10 bucks nowadays. You know how much that would cost if you wanted to make it from scratch? Thousands of dollars. Just think about it. The whole process of creating a farm, raising pigs, cultivating and growing tomatoes, there's a lot to it. Point being, there are many benefits to capitalism that for some reason, all these college Marxists seem to blatantly overlook. I don't know why.
And like, I recognize that's never going to happen.
You said the Marxist thing. Can you give me an example where Marxism has ever worked?
No, but that's because we currently.
But it's been tried over 100 times in the last 100 years, and it's never worked. It's 0 for 100. And isn't that kind of concerning to you?
Well, so the thing is, in a Marxist state, you know, it's a stateless, classless, money society.
Right, and so that's just Utopia, man. I mean, that's no different than a fiction novel about Neverland. It's been tried, and the results are hundreds of millions of people dead.
But that's ultimately what the true concept of utopia is.
Right, so
Here's a very simple question I wish Charlie would ask this kid. All right, you say real Marxism or socialism, communism, whatever you want to call it, it hasn't yet happened. So far, we have 100 million deaths from socialism and counting. How many more people should die until we get it right, or how many people are worth having die until we get it right? You have the floor, you let us know. You're never going to hear a good answer for that because, spoiler alert, there isn't a good answer for that.
So here's the question. You think utopia is attainable?
I think it is, not in our lifetime.
Okay.
Have you read the Communist Manifesto?
Yeah, and so I guess the struggle I have here is you espouse a viewpoint that has never worked, you think it's never going to work in our lifetime, and never work in this country. That's no different than me believing in something of a work of fiction.
But that doesn't mean that you can't work towards it.
So how would we go about working towards it? That's where the revolutionary component comes in, isn't it? So maybe you are a little more revolutionary than you admit it.
I don't think I am. I think that like when you look over time and you see, you know, how societies have changed and how they've progressed and everything, I think that eventually we'll get to a point where people will be able to criticize.
Well, so let me ask you a question. Do you think some people are better at some things than others?
Sure.
Okay, so then in your utopian society, where would a smarter person fit in versus a not so smart person? Would there be hierarchies or no in your fictitious utopian Marxist society?
Okay, utopia society. Well, at that point, automation will have taken over enough so that you have to what is to
Are you familiar with this thinking?
No, I'm very familiar. I'm trying to
thinking
decon.
is that to
No, trust me. I'm not asking to figure it out. I'm actually deconstructing.
just keep saying-
Like, I don't actually think he believes this.
I'm saying that because of the modern age, there is a new variable, right, which is automation.
Yeah.
So very familiar with it, but that will never get rid of hierarchy. So.
For the 2020
Profound
election,
and
there's what's his name? There's a candidate who believes in the
Yeah, the Asian American guy. Very nice. You or something. But here's the thing.
if we tackle
Karl Marx argued that in the 1870s, and we've had huge automation, and we still have hierarchy. It's like, so no matter how hard you try, some people are going to work harder at certain things and be more proficient at them than others, whether it be music, sports, anything.
So the candidate they were referring to right there is Andrew Yang, who very famously or infamously, depending on your perspective, pushed the concept of UBI, short for Universal Basic Income. His whole premise was that as AI gets bigger and bigger in the American society, we're not going to be able to have jobs for people who are working in essentially labor industries anymore. So we have to take care of them by sending them a check for, I don't know, $1,000 a month or whatever it might be. And I won't speak on Yang's behalf, but something I've heard with many of the people who push this idea is that, well, you know, all these people, all these suckers aren't going to be able to work at some point. So we have to take care of them somehow. So let's just send them money. Yeah, that just doesn't work. And I don't know why anybody would try to suggest it does in a sincere or serious manner. It really shows a lack of understanding of human nature. At the end of the day, the human being is a man that needs dignity. And many people, for better or for worse, find that dignity through working for something and earning it. That's just the reality. If you tell somebody, hey, you know, just go ahead and sit at home and, I don't know, watch Netflix, smoke weed, order your DoorDash all day, and you'll get this check in the mail, so it's all good. You'll be able to support yourself. It's just not going to work. They're going to end up miserable and depressed. That's the reality of human nature, and people who are pushing this concept of UBI are fundamentally ignoring that, whether intentionally or not.
In the fictitious Marxist society, it means the complete total abolition of any sort of hierarchy whatsoever. And so that's something you would believe in. Okay, so that's anti how we're actually built as people. Some people are taller, some people are smarter, some people have higher IQs, some people have more drive. Only in a market-based society are those differences able to elevate the standard of living for all people and actually make some sense of a broken world. And there's been so many times that Marxist fictitious utopian communism has tried to be implemented. Over a short period of time, like the Paris Commune, it falls apart. Do you know why? Because human beings are inherently selfish. And so if you try to build a commune, for example, after 20 days, you're going to have one guy and say, no, I want 2 loaves of bread, not 1. And he might be smart enough to be able to figure out how to do that. Then all of a sudden, there'll be a small subdivision that will break away from him, and you have a conflict. The only reason we have a civil society in the West is in order to get 2 loaves of bread in the West, you have to earn it. You can't take it away from somebody else. That's where Marxist utopian fictitious communism breaks down.
This is an interesting talk. I should probably get to class.
Thank you. I hope you learned something there.
All right, everybody, we're going to have to cut it off right there. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you appreciated it. We hope you got something out of it. As always, please comment below. Let us know what you liked about the video, what kind of content you want to see in the future, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks, and God bless.